The volcano, heating under the Atlantic. Bermuda. More than 60,000 people live atop a 4,000-meter volcano, with no rivers or lakes. What happened 30 million years ago explains why 60 meters of limestone cannot hold water. Across Bermuda, white-stepped roofs do more than shape the skyline. They harvest rain for cisterns beneath each home. A dry spell tightens supply. Salt contamination can ruin it. Imported water adds another cost to life far from any continent. The reason lies below the foundations. Coral limestone absorbs rain quickly, but cannot keep a usable freshwater reserve near the surface. I want to trace how that buried weakness reaches into roads, shipping, finance, and survival. In this film, we move from Bermuda's volcanic base up to the roofs, revealing how geology still sets the terms of island life. Coral survives unusually far north here, only because warm Atlantic water keeps winter temperatures mild. At roughly 32 degrees north, Bermuda sits inside a sea bounded by 4 great currents rather than a single coastline. This is the Sargasso Sea. The Gulf Stream closes its western edge. The North Atlantic, Canary, and North Equatorial currents complete the broad rotation. Within that rotation, floating sargassum forms habitat far from land. It shelters and feeds young fish, turtles, crabs, and other ocean life. The Gulf Stream also carries warm water northward past Bermuda. Winter temperatures remain milder, allowing reef-building corals to persist well beyond their usual tropical range. Low sediment and relatively low nutrient levels can push underwater visibility towards 60 meters. Storms and plankton can reduce it again. The counterweight is blunt. The same warm water also supplies energy to tropical cyclones. There is no continent or shelf to shield the archipelago. Hurricane winds, surge, and long ocean swell can reach the islands even when a storm center passes offshore. A storm does not need a direct passage over the islands to disrupt the narrow chain. Around Bermuda, Gulf Stream warmth keeps northern reefs alive, while the same exposed Atlantic leaves the islands open to hurricane winds and surge. Bermuda's pink beaches begin with reef life being ground into sand. At Horseshoe Bay, red fragments of Homotrema rubrum mix with white shell, coral, and carbonate grains. Waves grind those fragments. Grazing parrotfish also break reef material into pale sediment, helping build the shore grain by grain. The reef also built a maritime trap. Before modern navigation, storms, hidden coral, and the difficulty of sighting a low island helped produce more than 300 documented shipwrecks. Their timbers and metal now offer hard surfaces for marine organisms, turning old collisions into living underwater habitat. Below ground, rain takes another route. Mild acid enters limestone joints, dissolves the rock, and slowly opens chambers such as Crystal Cave. Dripping water releases carbon dioxide and deposits calcite, building stalactites, stalagmites, and columns. The clear cave lake belongs to groundwater, influenced by the Atlantic. Ice Age sea levels repeatedly exposed, decorated, and flooded these passages, extending the same hard sequence of grinding, seepage, deposition, and time. Pink sand, colonized wrecks, and crystal columns are not separate wonders. Each is a visible result of slow pressure in and beneath Bermuda's porous stone. A territory that once had to account for every drop of rain now prices the world's largest risks. From a few compact blocks in Hamilton, firms manage roughly $1.5 trillion in assets and command about 1/3 of global reinsurance. No building may rise above the cathedral tower, so pastel offices stay close to the harbor and low to the ground. The quiet scale conceals global risk. Reinsurance is insurance for insurers. A company pays to transfer part of its risk, so one hurricane, earthquake, or wildfire does not overwhelm a single balance sheet. Bermuda expanded as a catastrophe reinsurance center after Hurricane Andrew in 1992, when fresh capital entered to provide coverage that had become scarce or costly. Inside Hamilton's offices, underwriters, brokers, lawyers, regulators, and modeling teams turn uncertainty into contracts. They combine storm tracks, building inventories, past claims, engineering assumptions, and financial models to price events thousands of kilometers away. The product uses little land, but it rests on concentrated skill, capital, and trust. That fits a limestone island with limited room and few raw materials. Exposure became expertise. Bermuda turned measuring and dividing risk into an export. Low-rise Hamilton converts geographic insecurity into work for the world. On 54 square kilometers of land, even a parked car becomes a claim on scarce ground. Since 1946, each household has generally been limited to one registered private car, controlling congestion, parking demand, and vehicle imports. The law sounds like traffic policy. I read it as an admission that Bermuda is too small to treat land as unlimited. Daily movement is compressed onto narrow, winding roads across an island chain only a few kilometers wide. Traffic keeps left, while blind corners, stone walls, and scooters enforce low speed. There is no spare corridor for a major highway. Visitors cannot rent conventional full-size cars, though small two-seat electric vehicles join scooters and bicycles. Public buses take the principal roads. Ferries cross the Great Sound, avoiding longer routes forced to bend around the shoreline. That is Bermuda's daily paradox. Distances are short, but trips are not always quick. Homes, schools, shops, docks, and workplaces must share the same narrow ground. After work, fishing, paddling, swimming, and watching the horizon keep the sea inside ordinary life. The slower rhythm is not culture alone. Rock, road, and water force every vehicle, building, and journey to fit. The ground gave Bermuda almost nothing to sell, so the island learned to export movement. With little fertile land, no mineral deposits, and few natural resources, Bermudians opened routes between North America, the Caribbean, and Europe. The key machine was the Bermuda sloop, built from native cedar that was light and resistant to rot. Its tall rig drove it close to the wind, while a shallow draft let crews work through reef-cut waters and coastal harbors. In the 18th century, island yards produced hundreds of vessels, built by enslaved and free craftspeople with hard-won maritime knowledge. Bermudian crews sailed to the Turks Islands, raked and dried salt, then carried it north. At North American ports, that salt preserved fish and meat. Profit depended on far more than cargo. Shipbuilding, sailmaking, navigation, handling, seasonal labor, and distant buyers had to lock together. Speed and command of transport became resources in their own right. A narrow limestone summit with poor soil was sustaining an economy spread across the Atlantic. The ocean looked like isolation, but Bermudian sailors made it a road, converting cedar, skill, and position into value the soil could not supply. More than 60,000 people live on the exposed tip of a mountain, more than 4 kilometers tall. Above water, 7 principal islands and more than 100 smaller islands and rocky islets cover barely 54 square kilometers. Bermuda is a British overseas territory in the North Atlantic, not part of the Caribbean. Cape Hatteras lies roughly 1,000 kilometers west. Toward Europe and Africa, open ocean runs for thousands more. Maps conceal the decisive scale. The limestone chain is only the exposed summit of a volcanic pedestal rising from the deep Atlantic floor. The inhabited chain is narrow, with its 7 main islands bound by bridges and causeways. That engineering creates movement across land, but it cannot shorten the water beyond it. Almost every traveler, imported product, and physical link enters through the airport or a limited number of harbors. A delayed aircraft, rough sea, or crowded port can therefore reach directly into ordinary life. Food, fuel, equipment, and replacement parts must cross the Atlantic to support more than 60,000 people. Bermuda's isolation does not begin at the shoreline, but in a volcanic mountain concealed beneath the Atlantic. Bermuda must intercept rain before it reaches the ground. The shortage is structural rather than simply climatic. The limestone beneath each house leaks rainfall downward. With no dependable surface supply, households must catch fresh water before the ground takes it. The white-stepped roof is Bermuda's answer. Overlapping limestone slates slow runoff and steer it through gutters into a tank beneath the house. Building rules link the required catchment and storage to roof size. Architecture is not decoration here. It is domestic water infrastructure. The coating reflects sunlight and helps preserve a cleaner collection surface. But roof, gutter, filter, pump, and tank must work as one machine. Leaves, salt spray, animal waste, or a crack can reduce quality or supply. In drought, households conserve, buy trucked water, or draw indirectly on desalinated public supplies. The same heavy roof also reflects heat and braces the home against Atlantic winds. One structure collects water, cools rooms, and adds hurricane resistance. Geology steps directly into architecture. When the island cannot hold rain, the house must become the basin. Life begins where rainfall strikes limestone, reshaped by human hands. An island chain surrounded by ocean cannot reliably hold the rain falling on it. Below it, an extinct volcano formed around 30 million years ago, and now rises more than 4,000 meters beneath a porous limestone cap nearly 60 meters thick. The story begins on the Atlantic floor. Volcanic rock built the submarine mountain that carries Bermuda. Coral, shells, and other marine material built up around that summit. Ice Age sea level shifts exposed beach sand, and wind drove it into dunes. Those dunes hardened into porous limestone, enough to make land, but unable to seal in rain. Mildly acidic rain widened cracks and opened caves. Much of the water kept moving down instead of collecting in surface channels. The result? No permanent rivers, no large natural lakes, and only limited freshwater lenses above denser salt water. In 1609, the Sea Venture collided with the reef and was deliberately driven onto it to keep the ship afloat. Those aboard reached ground shaped by marine stone, but found no dependable surface water. Daily life is decided by the porous limestone beneath every roof, which drains away the rain the islands depend on. Bermuda puts tailored shorts in boardrooms and masked dancers beneath peacock feathers in streets. Late in the 19th century, British military officers shortened trousers for the heat. By the 1920s, Hamilton businessmen had adopted them. The formal version pairs tailored shorts with a shirt and tie, jacket, long socks, and dress shoes. Business people, civil servants, legislators, and officials wear it as accepted office clothing. Gombe carries a different history. It grew from African and Caribbean practices shaped under slavery and segregation, then absorbed British military and masquerade influences. Drummers set the rhythm. Masked dancers in bright capes and tall peacock feather headdresses follow captains through structured steps. Masks once gave anonymity when black performances were restricted. Troops now perform openly on Boxing Day, New Year, and Bermuda Day, carrying family teaching into the street. One tradition adapted British formality to subtropical heat. The other turned restricted performance into public memory and claimed space. Bermuda must buy most of what keeps it running: food, fuel, vehicles, building materials, and daily goods all cross the ocean before they reach its narrow market. The price absorbs ocean freight, port handling, storage, and distribution. Spread across a small population, those costs settle into almost every household bill. Land imposes a second charge. Homes, roads, utilities, businesses, and protected open space fight for the same narrow ground, driving housing costs higher. Imported fuel drives much of the electricity supply. Rain must be caught on white roofs and stored at home, while extra fresh water and waste treatment consume energy and scarce land. The Atlantic can erase that balance quickly. Hurricanes interrupt ports, damage roofs, and erode beaches. Rising seas press against low roads, docks, caves, and freshwater lenses. Yet the same compression deepens belonging. Short routes, familiar neighborhoods, sheltered coves, fishing grounds, family houses, and repeated encounters turn limited space into shared memory. I see no romance in the hardship. The attachment is strong because the bargain is visible. Bermuda offers neither endless land nor easy replacement. This small outcrop in a vast sea promises no surplus. That hard edge makes every choice clear. The Western Atlantic can feel subtropical around Bermuda, yet turn cold and gray-blue along this northern coast. Nova Scotia lies much farther north, where the Labrador Current carries cold water south, while the warmer Gulf Stream stays farther offshore. Where those water masses meet moist air, fog can close visibility with little warning. The same contrast also helps feed productive fishing grounds. The coast itself was cut by glaciers. They stripped and fractured the rock, leaving hard headlands, drowned inlets, islands, and protected coves. Those coves became working harbors, not shelters from the Atlantic altogether. Fishing boats still cross narrow entrances using lights, buoys, and knowledge built over years. On shore, the ocean becomes traps, bait, fuel, boat repair, and seafood handling. Every catch depends on crews reading wind, swell, fog, and the safe window for return. Long Atlantic swell enters open bays. Salt spray, freezing conditions, and wind work constantly against hulls, wharves, roofs, engines, and exposed metal. No tropical promise softens this coast. Its gray-blue water is cold and broad, and every working boat must carry the weight of that exposure. Here, latitude and currents set the terms. The harbor survives by giving boats a narrow refuge, never by weakening the Atlantic outside. To see what makes Bermuda's roof catchment system unusual, look to another porous limestone landscape. Across northern Yucatan, rain disappears into a broad platform and feeds an extensive cave network. When a cave roof gives way, a cenote opens a direct window into the groundwater. Fractures can connect it to passages far beyond the opening. The inversion is the point. Water does not command the surface in a great river. It waits beneath roads, forest, and settlements. fresh rainwater forms a lens above denser saline water moving inland from the coast. In flooded passages, divers can encounter the visible boundary between the two layers. That hidden reserve helped Maya settlements hold dependable water, and many cenotes also carried ceremonial importance. Geology shaped both daily supply and meaning. One pattern reaches far deeper in time. A ring of cenotes follows fractures linked to the buried rim of the Chicxulub impact structure, where damaged rock steered underground drainage. Clarity offers no guarantee of safety. Sewage, farm chemicals, and urban runoff can travel quickly through porous limestone without the slow filtration of deep soil. Bermuda catches rain on roofs. Yucatan stores it below. Here, the ground is both reservoir and open channel, carrying every benefit and every contaminant. A blue-green lagoon survives in one of Peru's driest coastal landscapes, ringed by dunes that keep shifting under the wind. Beside Ica, one small pool holds the center, while homes, palms, hotels, and roads crowd onto a thin band of ground. Huacachina began with groundwater reaching the surface. Vegetation and settlement gathered around that opening because the surrounding desert offered no second source. Then, the water table fell. Regional wells, expanding farms, and urban growth drew harder on the same underground reserve. The lagoon now needs active management and replenishment to hold its level. Its natural appearance rests on pumps, maintenance, and decisions made far beyond the palms. Sand applies pressure from the other side. Dune buggies and sandboards generate income, yet the same moving slopes press toward buildings and expose how little stable land exists. Residents, farms, and visitors also draw from one scarce regional water supply. Tourism supports the settlement, while adding demand to the resource the settlement requires. The postcard rests on constant intervention. Water must stay in the hollow, and sand must stay away from the settlement. Twice a day, the tide threads through Avicennia, roots around Keshem Island, and the Kuran Strait. These trees survive salt water, while helping hold the coast together. Its specialized roots help limit or expel salt. That adaptation turns tidal water into habitat rather than a barrier. At high tide, seawater pushes into branching channels and partly submerges the forest. As it falls, mudflats, breathing roots, and feeding grounds return. The usable channels change within hours. Boat operators and fishers must read depth closely, because a familiar passage can become mud before the next trip. The roots do more than anchor trees. They slow water, trap sediment, shelter juvenile fish and crustaceans, and reduce some of the wave energy reaching the coast. Resident and migratory birds feed across the flats when the water retreats. The small boats move with precision. Their operators do not overpower this coast. They work inside narrow windows of water and depth. Pollution, boat disturbance, coastal construction, cutting, and excessive livestock use can weaken those roots and the shelter around them. At Hara, the shoreline holds because roots keep sediment in place, and skilled operators know exactly when each shallow channel can still carry a boat. The clearest water here can mislead the eye. The seabed looks closer than it is. The proof lies below. Shallow sand, reef, and rock reflect pale turquoise and deeper blue, while depth, sun angle, sediment, and surface chop alter what can be seen. At Vin Hai, the rocky headlands beside Nui Chua partially close the bay. Under favorable conditions, that geometry strips energy from incoming waves. The result is practical, not decorative. Small fishing boats, tour craft, and floating aquaculture structures gain working water and room to anchor. That shelter is limited. Seasonal winds, rough weather, and runoff can cloud the bay, and the water remains tied to the open sea. This matters to livelihoods. Fishing and seafood cultivation depend on access to the bay, while snorkeling and sightseeing depend on the clarity that reef and rock help produce. The same traffic can weaken what supports it. Anchors can strike coral communities. Boat traffic, litter, heavy fishing, and poorly managed tourism can reduce their biological and visual richness. Clear water, then, is not permanent. It is a temporary balance between the shape of the coast, conditions above the surface, and care below it. What stays with me is that balance. Small boats between hard cliffs and clear green water, protected enough to work, but never cut off from the sea. Bermuda's corals survive a northern limit. Ras Ganadas survive violent swings in heat and salinity. Northeast of Abu Dhabi, the reef occupies a shallow gulf beside heavily developed coastal waters. Intense evaporation concentrates salt, while limited exchange with the open ocean traps heat. This is not the stable tropical climate associated with reefs. Massive porites and brain-like platygira can persist across these broad swings. Faster-growing branching acropora may show greater damage after extreme heat and bleaching. That difference turns survival into reef architecture. The tougher colonies hold structure, while coral surfaces create shelter and feeding space for juvenile fish and commercially valued species. The diver's slow drift reads as restraint. A fin stroke crosses a compact habitat where fish, coral, heat, and current are tightly balanced. Human livelihoods depend on that same structure. Fishers use wire gargour traps for groupers, emperors, and other reef-associated fish, tying coral condition to food and income. Dredging can raise sediment. Vessel traffic, coastal infrastructure, fishing pressure, and extreme heat can then arrive together, piling human pressure onto corals already carrying the Gulf's natural extremes. Ras Granada proves survival is not security. Every intact coral head carries habitat, catch, and coastal value. Bermuda made open ocean a road. Hormuz shows what happens when that road narrows to a choke point. At its narrowest, about 33 kilometers separate Iran from Oman's Musandam Peninsula, while shipping lanes narrow to only a few nautical miles. This is not empty sea. It functions as a controlled road between the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, and the Arabian Sea. Deep draft vessels cannot simply spread out. Tankers, container ships, naval vessels, tugs, fishing boats, and coastal traffic crowd the approaches. Oil and liquefied natural gas give the passage global weight. A substantial share of internationally traded petroleum moves through here, linking one narrow channel to prices and supply chains far beyond the region. Each hull may appear isolated, but distant lives depend on the procession remaining steady. On every bridge, safe spacing has to be built minute by minute. Crews combine radar, electronic charts, radio calls, pilots, and continuous course corrections. Rock fixes the borders. Depth limits the route. Dense traffic, weather, and politics tighten the margin for error. A delay, collision, or political disruption can travel outward through energy markets and cargo networks, making 33 kilometers of water a vulnerability shared far beyond either shore. Valparaiso's pastel neighborhoods climb because the flat waterfront belongs to work. Between Chile's Pacific and a steep amphitheater of hills, the narrow level strip is packed with docks, roads, warehouses, and port machinery. Houses take the remaining slopes, stacking pastel paint over corrugated metal. The uneven pattern is not urban decoration. It is land pressure made visible. Movement here has always required engineering. Stairways, winding streets, and historic funicular elevators bind hillside neighborhoods to the commercial ground below. The harbor once prospered on routes around Cape Horn. When the Panama Canal shortened travel between the Atlantic and Pacific, traffic changed sharply. Still, the waterfront never became a museum. Container handling and naval activity keep it functional, noisy, and tied to the wider ocean economy. The hills create the city's signature and its daily burden. Steep access complicates utilities, housing construction, and firefighting, forcing old transport links to keep carrying the load. Earthquakes, landslides, and fast-moving fires leave little margin on dense hills. Narrow roads and steep grades make every response harder. The identity lies in the mismatch, not in polish. Inherited lifts, improvised housing, painted walls, and maritime labor share one vertical city. Its character rests on that divide. Pastel homes above, port labor below, old machinery hauling between them. Mauritius does not end where its beaches meet the Indian Ocean. In many places, a broken ring of fringing and barrier reef takes the first impact of open ocean swell, holding calmer water close to shore. From above, pale turquoise marks sand and shallow coral. Darker cuts reveal channels and passes where the seabed falls and the lagoon connects to open sea. Those openings keep the enclosed water alive. Tides, boats, larvae, and sediment move through them, though the same narrow routes can focus strong currents. The reef crest does harder work. Its coral structure strips energy from waves before they reach beaches, roads, and settlements. Behind it, seagrass and reef habitat shelter juvenile fish and invertebrates. Fishing and tourism depend on that underwater ground remaining productive, not merely clear. Its thinness is deceptive. The island's functional edge reaches beyond dry land through a living perimeter that absorbs force every day. Cyclones break coral and shift sand. Marine heat waves bleach reefs. Anchors, polluted runoff, dredging, coastal building, and heavy lagoon use add local pressure. Each pressure weakens more than color. It reduces habitat and leaves the shoreline more exposed to ocean energy. The aerial view resolves the island's real boundary, not the beach, but the outer reef where living structure holds a pale lagoon against the Indian Ocean. A beach can change shape while an entire local economy is still working across it. At Playa Zicatela, near Puerto Escondido, powerful long-period Pacific swell shifts sandbars, drives currents along shore, and sends water rapidly away through rip currents. That energy draws experienced surfers to a heavy beach break, but it also demands clear limits for swimmers. The same swell can create income and force immediate caution. In more sheltered coves, fishing crews launch small pangas when morning water is calmer. They return with regional catch for markets, food stalls, and restaurants. Later, another workforce fills the shore. Surf schools, hotels, taxis, vendors, and beach workers crowd around the same moving edge between dry sand and breaking water. Hurricane season surf can strip sand, damage temporary structures, and stop boat launches. When the water rises, fishing schedules, visitor income, and shoreline safety tighten at once. Ordinary work is packed against that force: swimming, selling, teaching, launching, returning. The coast never stands still long enough to become scenery. When the Pacific redraws the sand, launch sites, surf lessons, stalls, and incomes must all move with it. Atlantic wind and rain strike orange-brown mantle rock at Gros Morne, material that belongs deep beneath Earth's crust. It rose with remnants of an ancient ocean floor when colliding continents assembled the Appalachian Mountains. The tablelands make that displacement visible at ground level. These rocks became crucial evidence that tectonic plates move and that an ancient ocean once narrowed between converging landmasses. Farther north, glaciers cut the steep valley now occupied by Western Brook Pond. When the ice withdrew, the land rose and separated the former fjord from the sea, leaving fresh water behind. Cliffs rise hundreds of meters above that lake. Waterfalls drop over bare rock, while thin soil, fog, wind, and fast-changing weather leave little room for anything fragile. That severity also controls movement. Boats follow the long water corridor. Hiking routes bend around faults, steep walls, and bedrock that resists an easy crossing. One wall records an immense sequence of work: uplift, erosion, ice, and the slow rise of land after the glaciers retreated. The cliffs do not decorate Gros Morne. They dictate every route and expose the physical history of a continent without cover, softness, or ornament. One harbor works by hand while the deep seaport beside it is built for global trade. On Gwadar's Hammerhead Peninsula, carpenters still repair wooden fishing boats and dhows in the open, plank by plank, before the next journey. A damaged hull is stripped back to its frame. Boards are shaped, fastenings driven, seams caulked, and fresh paint applied only after the structure is ready for the water again. Weight sets the terms. Winches, rollers, and coordinated labor haul the boats above the tide, so the full strain of maintenance stays visible on the open shore. Around that work, the harbor keeps moving. Crews unload fish, traders sort the catch, and ice and fuel pass toward vessels preparing to leave. Mechanics repair engines between trips because a fishing boat earns nothing while it waits on shore. Weather, spare parts, repair skill, and the daily market all press on the same decision: sail or stay. The finished hull matters less than the rhythm of hands keeping it useful. This is craft measured by whether a boat can work tomorrow. Gwadar's old harbor endures beside global ambition for one hard reason. Tomorrow's catch still depends on the hands finishing today's repair. The water around Phu Quoc can look untouched, yet the wooden boats anchored close to shore expose a working island. Vietnam's largest island lies in the Gulf of Thailand, close to Cambodia, with fishing and construction sharing one coast. The boats reveal more than the color of the shallows. They turn a tropical image into evidence of work, shelter, and daily supply. That water does not keep one character. Monsoon winds, rain, runoff, and waves shift the calm from one coast to another and change how clearly the seabed appears. The moorings feed an economy rooted in the sea. Crews land squid, fish, and anchovies. Some of the catch enters large wooden barrels where salt and thyme make fish sauce. Access has accelerated the pressure. Ferries, an international airport, new roads, and resorts have quickly transformed movement to Phu Quoc. Tourism creates jobs, but every new room also demands land, fresh water, electricity, sewage treatment, and waste collection. Growth reaches far beyond the beach. Coral patches, seagrass, reefs, and nearshore fisheries absorb the cost. Anchors disturb the bottom. Runoff, plastics, heavy use, and coastal building add pressure. Phu Quoc's tropical shore is not an empty border. Those anchored boats make its condition plain. Beauty, work, and rising demand now occupy the same narrow coast. Bermuda's deepest constraint is not distance. It is ground that cannot store the rain falling on it. Once that fact is accepted, the island becomes easier to read. Buildings collect water. Imports carry heavy costs, and financial expertise turns exposure into income. I see no contradiction between the white roof and the reinsurance office. Both are tools for containing risk before it becomes loss. That lesson reaches far beyond one Atlantic territory. Rising seas, coastal pressure, and expensive infrastructure are forcing cities to confront the ground beneath them. Engineering can defend a shore, move water, or manufacture land. But every barrier and pump creates a permanent bill. In this century, power will belong not only to places that build boldly, but to those that understand what their rock, water, and coast will never allow. Continue with this series as it follows the hidden ground beneath coastlines, where water, rock, and human engineering decide which settlements can endure and at what continuing cost.